Welcome to WTV Votes. I'm Sky Bryden-Blom. We're streaming live tonight on Facebook and on 105.9 Seaside FM. The WTV team has been working on our extensive election coverage for several weeks. We'll tell you about issues facing residents throughout the HRM. And in a moment, we'll hear from a Halifax man who's frustrated that he wasn't allowed to vote in this election. We'll also take a look at how development in Halifax's North End is bringing in new residents and forcing others out. We have reporters standing by live in the districts and with the candidates for mayor. Jean-Marc Sampson is with mayoral candidate Lil McPherson. Alistair Alders is with Mayor Mike Savage. Hilary Pettigrew is with District 5 candidate Tim Rosesco. Callum Smith is with District 5 candidate Gabriel Nshuga. No. And Nick Maloney is with District 8 candidate Lindell Smith. They'll be joining us throughout the evening to provide live updates as the numbers come in. And as we get those numbers, this is what you want to watch out for. We'll show you who's leading with a red check mark. Then, once there's a declared winner, that check mark will change to green. A Halifax resident is frustrated that his voice will not be heard in this election. Callum Smith tells us why.
Greg Johnston took to Twitter to speak his mind. He's upset he can't vote in the municipal election.
I was just disappointed that I couldn't have my say.
Johnston is an architect who works in Halifax. He moved to Nova Scotia from Denver, Colorado in 2012. He became a permanent resident in the following year. And that's the problem. He's not a Canadian citizen.
I put my name into the voter registry, and they told me that I could not vote because I'm a permanent resident.
Johnston has all the same rights as a Canadian citizen, except he cannot vote or run for office. He says while he's not interested in becoming a politician, he should be allowed to vote for them.
I think we deserve that right. When it comes to running for office, okay, I can see us maybe not being eligible.
The motion to allow permanent residents to vote has been pushed forward by HRM and has been discussed multiple times in the last 3 years. But the final decision must be made by the province. City spokesperson Adam Richardson says he hopes eventually people like Greg will be able to vote.
I think in any election, any democratic process, you want as complete and diverse a collection of voters as you can have, and it is something that we recognize. As mentioned, unfortunately, it's not something that will occur this time around.
Johnson says though his voice won't be heard this time around, he's still engaged in the election.
Such a big part of what goes on here.
Callum Smith, WTV News, Halifax.
Thanks, Callum. Now it's time to check in with WTV's Jean-Marc Sampson. He's standing by at the Millstone Pub in Dartmouth, where supporters of Lil McPherson are gathering. McPherson is taking on Mike Savage for mayor. Jean-Marc, what's happening there?
Yes, good evening, Sky. Here I am at the Millstone Pub in Dartmouth, where Lil McPherson has set up her headquarters for election night. What an exciting night we have for you. Tonight's the night we find out who will have the helm of Halifax's City Council. McPherson is up against Mike Savage. Mike Savage is well loved and well known in Halifax. He won the election in 2012 with a whopping 58% of the votes. So we'll have to see what's going to happen tonight. A little bit about McPherson. She is a small business owner. She is the founder and co-owner of The Wood Monkey in Halifax and Dartmouth, and she's also an environmental activist for the city. A couple of things on McPherson's platform is she wants to make Halifax a greener municipality and a greener city. She also wants to make more greener transit, i.e. bike lanes, which is fantastic. She also wants to revisit the zoning bylaws in the city and wants to implement programs for seniors. For those, she doesn't want to abandon seniors, so she wants to make programs and incentives for volunteers to be included with those seniors. So folks, stay tuned all night. We'll be here at the Millstone Pub. We'll be bringing you live tweets on WTV Media. My colleagues and I will be across the city bringing you all kinds of awesome, fantastic coverage of this year's municipality coverage. So, for now, I'm Jean-Marc Sampson at the Millstone Pub in Dartmouth for WTV News, and I'm going to kick it back to the studio with Sky.
Thanks, Jean-Marc. We'll check back in with you later. And coming up shortly, we'll also hear from WTV's Alistair Alders, who's joining supporters of Mayor Mike Savage at the Dartmouth Sportsplex. First, though, we've put together profiles on some of the new and young faces running for council in this election. Here's District 11 candidate Dawn Penny. Lots of people are talking about this election on social media tonight, and we've got our very own social media watcher who's going to keep us up to date on Twitter. Cadence, thank you so much for joining us. What have you seen so far?
Thank you, Sky. Well, right now I'm seeing some of the candidates from different districts, and I'm looking at what they're doing right now. Here we have Lil, and she says the countdown is on. Hashtag in support of Lindell Smith. Hashtag WTV votes, hashtag Halifax votes. And from Kevin Copley, we have setting up to celebrate, win or lose. I'm proud of the campaign and thankful for the support. And that's what it's all about, celebrating with your friends and what you believe in, and just continuing to work towards something better for your communities. And from Rachel Francesca, we have reading hashtag HRM votes tweets and getting voter envy. Why did I leave Halifax right before the election? I am with you there. I am reading lots of tweets, and sorry you can't vote here. I hope people have taken the initiative to vote on your behalf here. Then from Trends Maps Halifax, we have hashtag HFX votes is now trending in Halifax, and that is what I like to see. I want to see all kinds of people tweeting using the hashtag so I can trace your tweets. And then from Anthony Scoggins, we have spent much of today pulling the vote for Sam Austin, D5, District 5. It was also HRM Curbside Recycling Day. Should have brought a wheelbarrow. And then from HRM 13, vote right now. I've got 1 hour to get to the polls. Why didn't someone remind me? That's a past tweet. I hope you made it out, and I hope everybody who had plans got to make it out. Thank you, Sky.
Thank you, Cadence. We're going to have a lot of coverage for you tonight on District 8, Halifax Peninsula North. Incumbent Councillor Jennifer Watts isn't running again. She says she wants to see more diversity on council. WTV's Nick Maloney caught up with Lindell Smith earlier today at his district's polling station. Let's take a look.
I'm here at the North End Community YMCA. How you doing? Yeah, here's the guy himself. We're at the North End Community YMCA, the polling location for District 8. That was council candidate Lindell Smith. He's heading in to cast his vote for his district. In this district, incumbent councillor Jennifer Watts has decided not to reoffer. She wants to allow for more cultural diversity on municipal council in the coming years. That diversity could be Lindell. He's garnered a lot of respect here in the community, just having lived here for most of his life. We're going to catch up with he and his many supporters around the corner on Gottingen Street at Alter Egos Cafe later on tonight. For WTV Votes, this is Nick Maloney.
Later tonight, Nick will be reporting live from Alter Egos Cafe, where Lindell will gather with his supporters to hear the results. Time now for a short break, but coming up, another profile in our series of new faces running for council in this election. WTV's Hillary Pettigrew will introduce us to Carlos Beals from District 6. We'll also have all the latest results for you. Stay with us.
I knew growing up that I wanted a career that involved horses. From the moment I was born, my mother, she'd bring me down to the barn, and I had my own pony that I would ride around on, and she would call him the babysitter because she'd just put me on him and he would just roam around the arena with me. My first horse show was when I was 17 months, and I was showing that pony. His name was Peter. We come from a horsey family, so I was always involved in the barn. I took 2 years of a business degree. I realized that it was not for me, that I couldn't see myself sitting at a desk. I heard about the Therapeutic Recreation Program at NSCC Marconi campus. I applied, got accepted, and I ended up switching schools. While at NSCC, we had the opportunity to do a work placement. I did mine at a local guest home working with people who have disabilities. And that's when I met Ed. 4 years ago, when Ed first started riding, he needed 5 people walking beside the horse with him. And now, 4 years later, it is just me walking beside the horse with him. Seeing Ed improve so much has such an impact on my life and proves to me that therapeutic riding does help people physically, emotionally, socially. In my opinion, one of the best benefits to therapeutic riding is self-esteem. Where I am right now in life, I would never have dreamt that I would be able to have this job, to be able to spend numerous hours here at the barn, but also help people. That's something that I really, really love to do, and the more I do it, the more I love it. My education enabled me to have a career with horses. It was something that I always wanted to do, and now I'm able to do it.
Welcome back to WTV Votes. A reminder that we're streaming live on WTV Media's Facebook page and on 105.9 Seaside FM. While we're still waiting for the live results to come in, here's a quick snapshot of the race for mayor. Mayor Mike Savage is determined to win back his seat after serving the last 4 years at City Hall. Before he was elected as mayor, he was a member of Parliament and represented Dartmouth-Cole Harbour from 2004 until 2011. He's running against political newcomer Lil McPherson, co-owner of the Wooden Monkey Restaurants. She's an advocate for local business and an environmental activist. Both candidates also declared they wouldn't be using lawn signs in this election. We'll check in once again on the mayor's race later in the show. Many of the new faces running for council in this election say they want to make a positive difference in the communities they grew up in. Dartmouth North's Carlos Beals is one of them. Hillary Pettigrew has his story.
Carlos Beals knows what it's like to be a young person in North Dartmouth. He grew up here and now he wants to represent the community as a city councillor.
I want to be able to represent these people because I sort of have lived experience living in a lot of the social issues that we see today, such as poverty, and to bring my lived experience to the table.
26-year-old Beals is running against Tony Mancini, who's held the seat since a by-election last winter. Beals says a lot of young voters have shown interest in his campaign. Brandon Walker is one of them. He's volunteering to help Beals get elected.
Carlos has a versatile connection to more than just our community, but other communities within the HRM. He has a lot of public knowledge with things that go on in the community, and I think it takes a person who knows the real struggle, knows the true issues in our community, and that's who I'd like to support my community.
Hillary Pettigrew, WTV News, Highfield Park, Dartmouth.
And we'll find out soon if Tony Mancini will hold his seat as councillor in District 6 or if Beals will win it. Time now to check in with one of our reporters in the field. Mike Savage is running for re-election as mayor of HRM after holding the city's top job for the last 4 years. WTV's Alistair Alders is covering his campaign tonight and is standing by at the Dartmouth Sportsplex. Alistair?
Good evening, Sky, and good evening, everyone. I'm here at the Dartmouth Sportsplex. This is where Mayor Mike Savage's campaign party is being held here tonight. There's not too many people here yet, just a few supporters and volunteers, but actually behind me, down on the rink, there is a hockey game taking place right now, so it's sure to be a high-energy evening. Now, of course, Mayor Mike Savage is hoping to be re-elected. He was first elected 4 years ago in 2012, beating out longtime Mayor Peter Kelly. Now, when he ran, though, he had a lot of opponents he was up against. This time around, just one. That is Lil McPherson. She is an environmental activist. Now, Mayor Mike Savage is hoping if he is re-elected, he can finish off on some of the commitments that he has made over the past 4 years. He wants to finish the Halifax Transit Moving Forward Together plan, which is in the final stages, and he wants to buy land for the Blue Mountain Birch Cove Lakes Wilderness area. This election, is also interesting because both Lil McPherson and Mayor Mike Savage have agreed to not use lawn signs. So it's definitely going to be an interesting night here, and we will talk with Savage supporters as well with the mayor himself when he gets here, and we'll have more to you coming up live, and some live results. Reporting live at the Dartmouth Sportsplex at Mayor Mike Savage's campaign headquarters, I'm Alistair Alders for WTV News.
Thank you, Alistair. A recent St. Mary's grad is one of the new faces running for council. Dominic Desjardins wants young people like him to have more say in how the city works. Here's another one of our short profiles.
People are pissed, and I think it's time that we have a voice that represents them. Get out and have your voice heard, because at the end of the day, it's youth that don't go out and vote.
Once again, it's time to find out what's happening on Twitter with our social media guru, Cadence, who's monitoring it all for us tonight. Cadence, what are you seeing now?
Well, Sky, I'm seeing tweets come in about just different things from the election today and different things from, candidates running. So let's see what they have to say. From Brian Weens, I'm sorry. He says, interested in the results from today's municipal election. And so are we, so please stay tuned in and wait along with us, and we can experience this election together. And from Jeff Harper, breaking, Lorelei Nickel, wins District 4. Hashtag HRM votes. And then we have this photo right here of Lindell Smith. Behind the scenes, as Lindell Smith meets up with his volunteers and finds out the results for District 8. How exciting it must be to just be there with all your friends and just waiting for that exciting news. So no matter what happens, congratulations on a great election. And from David Hensby in District 2, as the sun sets with the full moon rising and the polls close, I appreciate all those who cast a ballot in this election. Thank you for voting. And there's just a sneak peek at some first final results. And there you see it. We have Lil McPherson with 31%, and then Mike Savage with 67.3%. So those are the first real results we have for your mayoral candidate. Back to you, Sky.
Thank you, Cadence, for that update. Lisa Blackburn is one of the candidates running in District 14. WTV's Daniel McKenzie caught up with her to find out what issues she thinks are important in her community.
Lisa Blackburn is hoping people in District 14 vote for change in this election. The journalist and former radio host is one of 3 candidates vying to become the councillor for the district.
I'm feeling a lot of good vibes from the doorstep. I'm getting the sense that people are frustrated. I'm getting the sense that they want a change. And I'm getting a sense that they feel that I'm the person that can bring that change to the council table.
Blackburn says her time in radio and as a community volunteer is good preparation for municipal politics.
The stretch into municipal politics was sort of born out of volunteer service. For the last 30 years in radio, volunteer work and community service has been a big part of what I've done. And I found that after I left radio, it was still a big part of my life, and I discovered that's sort of where the passion is. So I see running for city council as sort of a natural extension of the community service that I've been doing for the last 30 years.
When knocking on doors, Blackburn says she's hearing about several issues in the district that many people are concerned about.
Some of the main ones that I'm hearing from people on the doorstep is transit. The state of rural transit is not what it should be. The level of service is not what it should be. And I want to be able to express that properly at the council table. Also, a lot of people talking about the ditch tax. That impacts a lot of people in District 14. And that is something that I definitely want to be a strong voice against as well.
Blackburn is up against incumbent Brad Johns and newcomer Kevin Copley. Daniel McKenzie, WTV News, Beaver Bank.
Thanks, Dan. WTV's Callum Smith joins us now live from downtown Dartmouth. Give us an update on what's happening at Gabriel Nshuga's campaign office. Nshuga is a first-time candidate with some bold ideas. Callum?
Hi, I'm here outside Gabriel Nshuga's election office. He just arrived after a long day of campaigning and trying to get people to get out and vote. Tonight, we wait to hear the results of District 5. Nshuga is an anti-poverty advocate running as part of Solidarity Halifax. He is running against 7 other candidates who are all vying for Gloria McCluskey's seat, which she held for over 23 years. Some of Nshuga's plans, if elected, include free and better transit, more affordable housing, landlord licensing, as well as free recreational programs. Nshuga believes recreational programs should be accessible to anyone who wants them. He also wants everyone's voice to be heard. He wants a more diverse and affordable city. As part of diversity, Nshuga wants more voices on council. He is the first openly trans candidate to run for open office in Nova Scotia. Something else Nshuga is vying for is fair wages for municipal workers. I'm Callum Smith in downtown Dartmouth for WTV News. Back to you, Sky.
Thanks, Callum. It's time for a quick break, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, we'll learn more about what's being done in HRM to engage young voters. We'll also have more live results. Stay with us.
I love money. But it's not for wanting a bigger car, a bigger house, but because I learned at a young age what I could do with it. I started my life in public housing. Now, as a child, I saved all my money, not out of greed, but because I wanted to change the world around me. I saw the power in money, the good and the bad. I was an entrepreneur by the time I was 12. My parents were going through a really rough patch money-wise, and my brother and I, we figured out a way to make money from playing just ordinary video games. Being able to be there and provide them with something to get their feet back on the ground, you know, it was amazing. In providing for my family, there was a role reversal where it actually empowered me. Someone else may have been pushed away, but it actually pulled me in. When I found the business program at NSCC, I was amazed. Never have I felt such a community here. I remember walking in my first day. You know, there was pizza parties and nice living walls, and people were having fun. The business program enabled me to help others and help myself in a way I've never seen before. The career that I'm in now is an operation analyst, and we do hedge fund administration. What I've learned from going through financial planning training, working at a bank, in the process of being a financial advisor, people spend way more than what they can, even if it doesn't make any sense. Just the beauty of helping people with financial planning, the beauty of finance really got to me, and where I am now, I actually love it, and I plan on staying here for a while. I don't know where I will be in 10 years, but what I do know is that you have to have passion for what you do. Passion to move forward. Passion to make a difference in the world. Your heart needs to be on fire for what you do and how you live.
Welcome back to WTV Votes. We're not only streaming live on WTV Media's Facebook page, but you can also hear us on 105.9 Seaside FM. The election results are coming in, and remember, a red check mark shows who's leading in a district. The green check mark means the winner has been declared. So let's take a look at the districts in which a candidate has been acclaimed. Bill Carson has been acclaimed in District 3, Dartmouth South, Eastern Passage. Carson was first elected to council in 2004. In District 4, Lorelei Nickel was also acclaimed. District 4 includes communities in Cole Harbour and Westfall. Nickel was first elected to council in 2008. In 2014, she served as deputy mayor for 1 year. Stephen Craig has also been acclaimed in District 15, Lower Sackville. Craig was first elected to council in 2012. And finally, Tim Oathit has been acclaimed in District 16, Bedford Wentworth. Oathit has served as councillor since 2008. Now to the latest results. It appears that Mike Savage is currently in the lead with 973 votes. Election officials for the city have been trying to get more young people interested in running for council and in voting this time around, encouraging e-voting and reaching out to young people online. Matthew Moore has the story.
With students returning to school this September, many are faced with homework and election polls, and some aren't interested in either.
I don't really have an opinion. I'm not that involved with politics right now.
And that's what election officials are looking to change this year. Only 8% of 20 to 29-year-olds voted in the last election. This year, with many more young candidates running, officials are hoping it will get the youth involved.
We're hoping that the younger candidates out there to sort of inspire people to come out and vote.
Many young contenders have put their name into the races throughout the districts, and that has young voters interested.
My opinion, I think it's awesome seeing a lot of young people care a lot about the environment. I think that's kind of the main issue.
Daniel Stein studies international development and English at Dalhousie University. Stein says that he hopes he will be better represented.
It's really refreshing to see. I think that we're kind of getting a new wave of younger politics across the country, definitely, but it's really cool to see that at a municipal level because I think that's probably the most important level of politics.
Arjun says he thinks it's important that more and more young people get involved in local politics, both as candidates and young voters.
Personally would love to see a lot of younger people step up and file applications to be on those committees as well, so they get some more experience around the committee table, and they get to know the local processes as well, so they can be familiar with that, because they are going to be our future leaders for the future.
Matthew Moore, WTV News, Dartmouth.
Thanks, Matthew. We're hoping to see a solid voter turnout for this election. Time to check in with some of our reporters in the field. WTV's Hillary Pettigrew is in downtown Dartmouth with supporters of District 5 candidate Tim Rosesco. Hillary?
Thanks, Sky. I'm down here at Tim Rosesco's headquarters down on Alderney Drive in downtown Dartmouth. The polling stations have come to a close now, so we'll be finding out the district results a little later in the evening. Rosesco is here tonight, and we will be speaking with him a little later once we know what the results are for his district. And some supporters are expected to arrive tonight. It's still early in the evening, but we will see them trickle in as the night progresses. Now, in this election, Tim Rosesco has said that he would like to provide discounted transit for low-income citizens, as well as providing more transit throughout the municipality. And he's also a big family man, so he plans on investing some of the council money into parks and recreational services throughout the district. And for this election, he's running against 7 other candidates. Gloria McCluskey, who is the current councillor for District 5, is now stepping down due to retirement. Reporting live from Tim Rosesco's headquarters on Alderney Drive, I'm Hillary Pettigrew.
Thank you, Hillary. As we told you earlier, there's a lot of buzz around Lindell Smith, a candidate in Halifax's North End. To find out why, check out this short video. Coming up, we'll check in with Lindell Smith. WTV's Nick Maloney will join us live. Time to catch up on what's happening on social media with our correspondent Cadence. What are you seeing on Twitter now?
Well, I am seeing all kinds of different things, mostly about waiting for the results, as we're doing right here, so I feel that connection. That's what I love about social media, is just connecting with people around the world, and opportunities like this to connect with people in your community through the election. HFX Gov says, now starting to see council results. When opening a box, mayor ballots counted first, then councillor, then school board. Hashtag HFX votes. And from Mike Murphy we have, Halifax votes because turnout of 35%. 16% says HRM has lost all legitimacy. I'm not alone after all in feeling no one in HRM represents me. Well, that's unfortunate, Mike Murphy. I am sorry you feel that way. And then from Dexter Dine we have Savage, Poole, James. Good luck. Trifecta of getting things done. Hey Halifax, this is from HFX Gov again. Hey Halifax, political junkies. Make HFX vote the most popular hashtag in Canada. I'm with you on that one. Get active on social media. Come on, I want to hear your thoughts. And from Gabriel and Shuga, it's been an honor to share campaign office with Carlos Beals, HFX. Drop in at 47 Wentworth. Well, if you can't be watching us, that'd be the second best place to be, I guess. Sounds fun. Back to you, Sky.
Thank you, Cadence. We'll be back with you in a bit. WTV's Nick Maloney is on Gottingen Street, where friends and supporters of Lindell Smith are starting to gather. Nick, tell us what's happening there right now.
Thanks, Guy. I am here at Alter Egos Cafe on Gottingen Street, right in the heart of District 8. And with me right now is Jelana Lewis, campaign manager for council candidate Lindell Smith. How you doing tonight?
I'm great.
Good.
Yeah.
You feeling good about the whole process?
Yeah, it was probably one of the busiest days of my life, but I think we worked really, really hard and we did the best that we could.
What time did you get started today?
I woke up at 5 and I finished putting out signs at 1 o'clock in the morning.
1 o'clock in the morning last night.
Yeah.
Wow, committed.
Yeah.
So how is it that you know Lindell?
Well, we are both from the north end of Halifax. I'm a little bit older than him, so we actually didn't know each other quite well, but we knew of each other. Yeah.
Right. From childhood, or just is this a recent thing?
I think the African Nova Scotian community is so tight-knit in Halifax, so we kind of knew of each other in terms of our last names, essentially. So I recognized him, and I maybe knew him by name, but we weren't friends.
How is it that you became campaign manager for Lindell?
Well, I knew he was running, and I actually wanted to donate to his campaign. So I live in Toronto, but I came home for a funeral, actually, and I met with him because I wanted to talk to him before I donated to his campaign. And I asked him who his campaign manager was, and he didn't have one. But at the time, I was not interested because I was going back to Toronto. But then I started thinking about it more and more, and my contract was wrapping up, and the timing seemed perfect, and I could tell that there was something special about him and this campaign, so I decided to get involved.
I've been hearing that term, something special about the guy. Everyone's saying, speaking quite a bit to his character. What do you think it is specifically about Lindell that the community is recognizing down here?
I think he's people have known him his entire life, and he's so visible also. So I think for him it was a bit easier to campaign, even though he's a younger candidate. He didn't really have to introduce himself to that much of the district. He works at the North Branch Library, he serves on many boards, and he's just very active in general. So it was special because it was as if kind of someone that almost everybody knew decided to run. So many people were excited about it so early on.
Right. Visibility in the community is one thing, but also you have to be like a hard-working, you have to be a viable candidate to represent the district. How is it that you think that he is going to represent the district?
I think he'll represent the district in a sense, he'll continue to be the exact same person he was before tonight or today. So he's always been out in the public. He's always been very active all around Halifax. So I think that he is not applying for a new job. He's just continuing to do what he's always been doing. And I think that's why he could be a great counselor.
Are you expecting a good turnout as far as voters this year?
Well, online voting turnout was pretty similar to 2012, so that was a bit surprising because I would think 4 years later we're all on the internet and our smartphones a lot more than we were before. So that was a bit of an indicator for me, but I do hope that more people came out, but it's really hard to say. It's so hard to know, and there's no polls ahead of time, so I wouldn't be surprised if it was similar. It'd be nice if it was higher, but it wouldn't be shocking if it was similar.
Best of luck. I'm sure you're doing a lot of great work, and I'm sure that Lindell really appreciates it.
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
Have a great night tonight.
Thank you. You too.
Sky, that's back to you. This is Nick Maloney from Alter Ego's Cafe in the North End.
Thanks, Nick. It's time for a short break. When we return, we'll hear about how the rising cost of rent is affecting residents in Halifax's North End. That's when we come back.
I knew growing up that I wanted a career that involved horses. I realized that I couldn't see myself sitting at a desk. We come from a horsey family, so I was always involved in the barn.
Good girl, Stephanie.
I heard about the therapeutic recreation program at NSCC Marconi campus. I did a work placement at a local guest home working with people who have disabilities. I would never have dreamt that I would be able to spend numerous hours here at the barn, but also help people physically, emotionally, socially. It was something that I always wanted to do, and now I'm able to do it.
Welcome back to WTV Votes. We're streaming live on WTV Media's Facebook page and on 105.9 Seaside FM. We have live results coming up, but first let's take a quick look at District 7. There are 3 candidates running in the south end of Halifax. The incumbent Wayne Mason was elected in 2012 and ran a close race against Sue Utek. And Utek served as councillor in Halifax for 13 years before she lost her seat to Mason. Political newcomer Dominic Desjardins is also in the running. He recently graduated from St. Mary's University and hopes to bring a younger perspective to municipal politics. This could be a close race as both Mason and UTech are familiar faces on council. Now let's get an update on the live results. Currently, we're seeing Way Mason in the lead with 989 votes. Oh, pardon me. Actually, it's Sue UTech who is in the lead. Ignore the check mark underneath Way Mason's name. Sue UTech is in the lead with 1,849 votes, which is significantly higher at this point in time than Way Mason. District 8 in the north end of Halifax is one of the most culturally diverse areas of the city. It's also undergoing a facelift with several condo and apartment buildings going up in the area. That's bringing new people into the community. But as Blake Seymour tells us, it's also pushing some people out.
Ostracizing people, forcing them out to find other accommodations without any kind of assistance.
Daryl King lives in a bachelor apartment on Gottingen Street with his dog, Nemo. He's the chair for Acorn, an anti-poverty organization. The group has been looking into the issue of rising rent prices in the north end of Halifax.
Gentrification isn't going to go away anytime soon, and neither are the developers. New businesses come in, force rents to go up, and basically redevelop it into almost like bigger urban cities like Montreal, Toronto.
New residential buildings like this one here on the north end of Gottingen Street are a prime example of how new developments are raising concerns for people who've been living in this area for years. While these new developments are drawing some newcomers into the area, they're also pushing some longtime residents out. Deborah Paris-Perry has lived in the North End her whole life and seen the effects of gentrification.
There was a time when you could get a pretty nice little apartment here in the North End for about $500.
According to the Canadian Mortgage and Housing Corporation, the average rent cost of a one-bedroom apartment in the North End in 2010 was $724 a month. In 2015, that average cost rose to $834. That's a 13% increase in 6 years.
The thing is that I laugh when I hear the term affordable housing, but affordable to whom?
A question many people here hope their new city councillor can help them answer. Blake Seymour, WTV News, Halifax.
Thanks, Blake. And just an update on what's happening in the election currently, the incumbent Way Mason is leading in District 7. It's time for an update on what's happening in the race for mayor. Alistair Alders joins us live from the Dartmouth Sportsplex, where friends and supporters of Mike Savage are gathering. Alistair?
Thank you so much, and we're back here live at the Dartmouth Sportsplex. I'm joined by one of Mayor Mike Savage's campaign volunteers, Coralie. And what is the overwhelming attitude going into tonight?
A lot of excitement. I think most people feel that Mayor Savage is going to win. He still has quite a lot of nervousness, hoping that people do get out and have gotten out to the polls to cast their vote, and that nobody is kind of sitting on their laurels assuming that he's going to get in.
And do you think he has a fair chance of getting back in tonight?
I think he definitely has a really good chance. Lil McPherson, amazing person. What she's brought to healthy food in our areas and restaurants is simply amazing. But don't fix it if it's not broken.
And in terms of, I guess, the campaign over the last month or so, how's that been going?
It's been pretty steady, not quite as busy as the one 4 years ago. People, I think, are pretty sure that Mike Savage is going to be here with us for another 4 years. So people have not been quite as pushing and quite as enthusiastic as the previous one.
Is there anything else you'd like to add about the campaign or tonight?
Get out, make sure you cast your vote, and support Mike Savage.
Thank you so much, and we'll have more live updates here from the Dartmouth Sportsplex, but for now I'm going to send it back to you.
Thank you, Alistair. Cadence has been standing by patiently to bring us the latest from Twitter. Cadence, what have you got for us?
I've got a few little goody tweeties just right here. Heather Allen says, is it time to start obsessively refreshing Halifax votes results yet? Listen, Heather, I made a job out of it, so why can't you? Just keep refreshing. Steve Silva says, the election party is happening at the Millstone Public House. Party, woot woot. That's the way I like to see. Celebrate election, make it exciting, because it is. Change is so exciting. And this is from Connor. Cheers as we read that Lindell has well over 50% in his advanced poll. Hey, yeah, I'm all about it. Raise your glasses tonight and be with one another, and let's just, I'm so excited. And then from Sean Gillis we have, council results trickling in. Hashtag HFX votes. I am so happy. I'm with you all here on Twitter, and I'm so excited to see who gets what in what districts. Back to you, Sky.
Thanks, and I'll talk to you again soon. Residents from rural communities throughout HRM gathered recently at City Hall to protest a land bylaw they say is interfering with property sales and cutting the value of their land. I caught up with them to hear their concerns.
And it's rendering our land useless and worthless, and that's just not fair.
These are members from Save Rural HRM. They're protesting a land bylaw that is preventing some residents from receiving building permits. Catherine Brown says she's impacted by the law. She recently inherited land in Wellington that had been in her family for generations.
It's the land you were given, the land that you worked and scrimped to save, and also the land that you want to pass on to your family.
Brown says she was blindsided by the land bylaw after a prospective buyer was denied a building permit. After investing thousands of dollars into maintaining the property and preparing it for sale, not being able to build on it means its value is cut by 80%. The bylaw applies to properties of at least 25 acres. It states building permits will only be issued if there's public road frontage of 100 feet or more to allow for service and safety access. Brown says the law hasn't been enforced in previous years and questions why it is now.
It hasn't been enforced at all for 20 years. No, that's why we are so appalled that council and the mayor has come out and said we should have known. How would we know?
Mayor Mike Savage met with 5 representatives from Save Rural HRM. He says council is aware of the problem and is working on a solution.
You know, I think the council by and large agrees with them and has agreed with them, and we're trying to do something to fix the issue.
Savage says council will try to find a solution for October 6th, which is the last council meeting before the municipal election. Sky Bryden-Blom, WTV News, Halifax. And an update. Last week, council decided to initiate an amendment process to the land use bylaw. HRM staff are currently collecting public comments at shapeyourcityhalifax.ca. Time now to check in again with WTV's Jean-Marc Sampson at the Millstone Brewery in Dartmouth. He's with friends and supporters of Lil McPherson. Mike Savage's challenger for mayor. Jean-Marc?
Yes, thanks, Sky. Good evening, folks. We're here at the Millstone Pub, of course, where Lil McPherson is having her headquarters on election night, and I am joined here by Olivia Verge. Thank you for joining us, Olivia.
Thank you very much.
Now, Olivia, the results aren't in yet, but as a young voter, why do you support Lil?
I know Lil very well, and she's the most enthusiastic person I know regarding the environment, and to me, that represents our future. So.
And why do you find it's important?
Because if we can't preserve our community and our environment here and live in a healthy environment, we won't be happy. And I want to stay in Nova Scotia, so it's very important to me.
And Lil also touches on transit. How do you think Halifax Transit is?
Pardon? Sorry?
Lil McPherson, she touched on the transit in Halifax. How do you think it is? How do you think she can improve it?
From my perspective, I have my own car, but I did... Two previous jobs ago, I would take the bus to work, and I found it pretty effective. So for me, it doesn't affect me as much. But I did work with a lot of people who would bike to work from Halifax to Dartmouth, and they found it kind of difficult. So I think Lil's very excited about that, and she cycles herself. So I think that'll be an important change.
And as a young person living in the HRM, what are you looking for at council? What do you think can be improved that Lil could bring to the table?
I think a voice for the environment, and she's not afraid to talk about controversial issues that are important to me. And I actually had the pleasure of being with her not with her exactly, but at the same time. We actually weren't there together, but I got to go to the COP21 climate change conference just as a spectator. And so after seeing that and then hearing what she talks about here, I feel like she's right. She's bringing us up to date with these issues. So, again.
I'd like to thank Olivia. Thank you again, Olivia. I'm going to kick it back to the studio for more exciting coverage. Sky?
Thank you, Jean-Marc. It's time for another quick break. When we come back, we'll have more live results. We'll also look at issues affecting residents in District 5, Dartmouth Centre.
If you do make the mistakes and you get a punch in the face in life, shake it off and start over and try to better yourself, right? My name's Aaron Francis of the Mi'kmaq Nation in Sydney, Nova Scotia. I started boxing when I was about 16, 17. I had a kind of a knack for it, I guess you could say. I was a troubled youth growing up, you know. The gym here, the boxing gym, helped me come out of that in a sense. A way to stay out of trouble, I guess you could say. Being an assistant coach at this gym gives me an opportunity to give back to the community, right? It gives me that opportunity to show young people that there is a positive outlet that you can do and there is room for change. You know, I just want to be a positive role model and a leader to the young people in the community of Membertou. I was at a school for 3 years and I decided to get back into it, and I was going through my options. NSCC was one of the first on my list. I looked through the courses, and business administration was something that I was always interested in. The way Membertou has been developing and expanding, I decided that that was something that I would like a career in. I'm hoping to move towards a degree, hopefully my master's in business. I want to keep moving forward with it and keep trying to better myself as a person, as a student. If you want to be, not the best, but if you want to be better than who you were yesterday, it really takes that dedication, and I want to be a living example of that.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at our election results as they stand right now. Currently, we're seeing that Mike Savage is in the lead for mayor. He has about 46,000 votes, followed quite significantly further than Lil McPherson. In District 1, we are seeing Kathy Daigle-Gammon taking the lead. Oh, no, sorry. Steve Stretch is in the lead, followed closely by Kathy Daigle-Gammon. And then in District 2, sorry, just bear with me for one moment. In District 2, we are seeing that in the lead it is the incumbent David Hensby. He's followed by Gail McQuarrie. District 3, we're seeing, oh, sorry, that is an acclaimed district, as we've already mentioned, as is District 4. As we continue to look at the results in District 5, we are seeing in the lead currently that Sam Austin is in the lead place, but he's followed closely behind by Tim Rosesco as well as Kate Watson. This could be a close race. In District 6, we're looking at Carlos Beals and Tony Mancini. Tony Mancini is in the lead with 2,870 votes. In District 7, we are seeing a close race between Way Mason, the incumbent, as we've already stated earlier, and Sue Utek. Oh, sorry. And in District 8, we are seeing a lead by Lindell Smith with 1,723 votes, which is quite higher than the rest of the candidates in that region at this point. And in District 9, we're seeing another close race between Sean Cleary and Linda Mosier. Sean Cleary has about 40 votes more than her at this point. And in District 10, we are seeing Russell Walker in the lead, but he's followed closely behind by Andrew Curran. And in District 11, Steve Adams has a significant lead over newcomer Donnie Penny. And in District 12, we are seeing Richard Zarowski in the lead. Councillors in District 13 who have been battling it out are currently seeing Matt Whitman in the lead. He's the current incumbent. And in District 14, Brad Johns and Lisa Blackburn are in a close race. Lisa Blackburn is in the current lead with 1,400 votes, and Brad Johns follows closely behind with about 1,379. And in District 15, it is acclaimed by Stephen Craig. And District 16 as well is acclaimed. In the weeks leading up to tonight's coverage, we've been listening to voters from all districts. Something many people are concerned about is public transit. And we spoke to one NSCC student whose future depends on accessible transit. Nick Maloney has that story.
If I want to go and watch a movie and just have a day to myself, I want to be able to do that. I don't want there to be this barrier stopping me.
Spencer McKay is a first-year filmmaking student at the Nova Scotia Community College. He's also a voter, and he's concerned about how council candidates can improve accessible public transit.
There's only one main source of transportation for people with disabilities. And I mean, the metro buses have ramps and accessible places as well, and there's accessible taxis, but the main thing that most people with disabilities use is accessible.
Spencer says that there are too few accessible buses on the road, which limits the amount of regularly scheduled trips available.
So right now I'm actually having a difficult time transferring over here in the mornings and sometimes in the afternoon as well. So I would like to see accessible kind of get more straightened out, I think, in terms of finding more options for people that need them.
Spencer says that improvements to accessible transit will not only enhance his personal independence, but will allow him to focus on his studies.
I need to be able to go to locations for shooting, for filming, for creating. And if I can't get there, I can't do my job. So for me, that really is the pinnacle of my career.
Nick Maloney, WTV News, Dartmouth.
Let's check back in with Callum Smith, who's downtown in Dartmouth and has an update on what's happening at Gabriel and Shuga's campaign wrap party. Callum?
To interview with Mark Culligan, MarkCulligan.
What's your role, Mark?
I'm a campaign coordinator.
Good.
Yeah.
So what's the campaign been like so far for you?
It's been exhausting, but it's also been super energizing to have the chance to knock on people's doorsteps. It's seldom when you're doing kind of left-wing activism to have the chance to get beyond the same kind of circle of people who you almost always do stuff with. And so to be able to like talk to strangers or to people who, you know, just the general public has been super exciting. And, you know, I think a lot of the ideas that we sometimes are afraid that aren't super popular, like, oh yeah, tons of people have them and share them, and there's a lot of support for them. And yeah, the people just don't have a channel for it or aren't used to being able to express it. So I think it's been super exciting to be able to talk to people. Yeah.
And you mentioned all that communication with the general public. What's been the biggest surprise for you so far?
I think the biggest surprise for me has been how difficult it is to make advertising choices. We came into like a bit more money than we thought we were going to in the course of the campaign, and felt like, oh, we gotta spend this money now, and trying to figure out like how to spend it. Like we approached different newspapers, we approached different advertising agencies to try to figure out what the best venue was for us, and ultimately I think like you know, I haven't been super impressed with the possibilities that existed for us. And I think like on the ground canvassers, which can't be bought, have been the most effective. And so I was kind of surprised by that. Yeah.
And you were out as late as today with Gabriel. How was the last day of campaigning?
Oh, it was really fun to get out and revisit some of the neighborhoods where we had support. So it was really nice to knock on doors and have people who are rooting for us, and that's always super encouraging. And I think today was kind of particularly funny because I went out with Gabriel for the very last shift, so up to like 45 minutes before the poll closed, Gabriel was still knocking on doors, and I think he was kind of super excited, but I think he was also like just trying to do something so he wouldn't be nervous, and I thought that was kind of funny and endearing. Yeah.
Mark, thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a great day.
And now back to the newsroom. Sky?
Thank you, Callum. The Dartmouth North Community Food Center recently launched the Speak Up, Show Up campaign. The center is helping residents learn more about the election to increase voter turnout. Take a look at this profile in our shareable video series. Let's join Cadence for another quick look at Twitter. Cadence, as the results are coming in, what's the buzz on Twitter?
Well, Sky, as I am noticing, there have been an interesting race in, well, every district. Even Noah Widmeyer has noticed. Close race in my district between Tim, Sam, and Kate. Hashtag so far. And then from Alistair, we have several supporters and volunteers here waiting for Mike Savage HFX at the Dartmouth Sportsplex. WTV votes, HRM votes. And what's going on in this picture? I know it looks like people are sitting in the skybox, and there's some black, white, and green balloons. Very nice. Oh, look at them shoes. Rocket. Alrighty. And then from Allison we have, the speed of this reporting is painful. Hashtag HRM votes. Allison, I understand. You know, elections can be sluggish, they can move slowly, but we just got to keep up in our heads that excitement of change and the possibilities from votes. And yes, I will see if there's anything refreshed here, if I've gotten anything else, because even my reporting, I wish it could be a little bit faster, but hey, what does Angela Thornhill have to say? Snugged with radio, refreshing webpage, waiting. Is this why quaint municipal elections aren't as cared about? You know, I wish I had the answers, but if you care for change, that's a great reason right there to get out there and make a vote. You know, it's important to get out and vote. Have your voice heard. It's an important voice. Every voice is equally important, so. And I will see if there's any other tweets here. Running in a little bit slowly today. Let's see what's on that HFX votes hashtag. Maybe. The results, there's a few results coming in and out. There's the polls have closed, obviously. They closed at 7 p.m. I've seen a few people tweet about them closing at 8 p.m. You know, sometimes it is nice to have that extra hour, but that usually only works out with sleep. If you can claim that extra hour in the morning, it's a beautiful day. But yeah. Oh, Haley Ryan, 17, says, a cheer goes out from Lyndall Smith's headquarters. I wonder if you can hear that. Our windows are not open. Brad Johns and Linda Mosher are the only incumbents trailing from Ben Cousins. So tweet us, and Sky, carry us through. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Back to District 5 and another candidate vying for Gloria McCluskey's seat. Our Hillary Pettigrew is standing by with an update from Tim Rosesco's headquarters. Hillary?
Thanks, Guy. I'm down here at Tim Rosesco's headquarters on Alderney Drive in downtown Dartmouth. Tonight I'm joined by Tim Rosesco's wife, Genevieve Harvey. So how's tonight going? It must be a pretty exciting night for you and the family.
Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah. So what was going through your mind when Tim said he wanted to run for council?
It's not surprised me. Tim's always been really active volunteering and wanted to be part of, contributing to the community. So it seems like a natural progression.
Cool. And what makes him stand out from the other candidates that are running?
Well, I think the experience that he's had working with Dartmouth. I mean, he's got a long volunteer record with Natal Day and Christmas tree lighting and many other things, and I know because he's out almost every night of the week, it seems, with that stuff. And of course, like his work with the downtown Dartmouth Business Commission, I think, Dartmouth seems to have a really good vibe to it lately, and I really think that Tim's contributed to that.
So what has this campaign process been like for you and your kids, especially?
It's intense. We haven't seen a whole lot of them in the last probably 2 months, really. It's interesting. The kids are interested, and they look at the signs and they're aware of the other candidates. It's busy. I guess my job is sort of to keep the family going while Tim's doing his thing.
Awesome. Well, thanks for that, for joining me tonight and doing an interview with me. Back to you, Sky.
Thank you, Hillary. And before we take a short break, let's take another look at those live results. Currently, we're seeing Steve Stretch in the lead in District 1, which has several candidates running. And in District 2, David Hensby, the incumbent, is in the lead with 1,771 votes, and he's followed closely by Gail McQuarrie. And in District 3, Bill Carson is acclaimed, as is Lorelei Nickel in District 4. And in District 5, we have 4 candidates in the running, and Sam Austin is taking the lead. And in District 6, there are 2 candidates running, Tony Mancini and Carlos Beals. Mancini was elected in January in a by-election and is currently in the lead now against Beals. And in District 7, Wayne Mason is in the lead, followed by Sue Utek. And in District 8, we are seeing 4 candidates on the screen, and of those 4 candidates, Irving Carvery is in the lead. And in District 8, we are seeing Lindell Smith leading of those candidates. And in District 9, we are seeing Sean Cleary in the lead, but not by much. Linda Mosier is following, not far behind. And in District 10, Russell Walker is in the lead, and he's followed closely behind by Andrew Curran. District 11, Steve Adams is still taking a lead on Don Penny. And in District 12, we have several candidates running, but Richard Zurowski is in the lead. And in District 13, incumbent Matt Whitman has taken the lead with 2,959 votes, followed by Pamela Lovelace, but she has 1,788. District 14, Lisa Blackburn is still in the lead with 1,349 votes, followed by Brad Johns. And Mike Savage in the race for mayor is taking the lead over newcomer Lil McPherson. We have to take a short break, but when we come back, we'll hear about issues faced by residents who rely on community transit in Beaverbank.
Humans are drawn to the ocean. And I think it's really because the ocean is a mystery. There was one time where it was mid-December and I think I was 2 years old. I asked my parents if I could go swimming and they said, sure, just joking. And I ripped off my snowsuit and went in the water. And they eventually got me back in, put my snowsuit back on, and I was purple, but I said, that was awesome. This love of water led me to Nova Scotia, where I pursued a degree in marine biology for 5 years, where I then came across the NSCC Oceans Technology Program. And right from the get-go, it became very clear that I could really hone in my skills in underwater photography. I got my first GoPro and I built a camera frame to analyze the ocean floor for simple vegetation. Really got me interested and really allowed me to find a sort of corner pocket of marine biology that I had been searching for. There's only about 7% of the ocean floor has been actually mapped in detail. There's a huge area for that to be explored. Through the NSCC program, I got to build another camera frame that built on the principles I learned from my previous one as my capstone project. And so my entire year for the Oceans Technology program, I really got to focus on a unique camera system. Even years later, I still feel that sense of mystery when I go in the ocean. So little of it has been explored, and so much of it remains a mystery to most people. Every day I feel like an explorer. I'm going with a pair of flippers and a camera, so that not only am I exploring it for the very first time, but I can then bring that back and share it with other people so that they can experience it a little bit, but then hopefully be pushed to exploring it themselves. As I step forward in my career in underwater technology, I feel like every day I get to tap into that sense of joy that the 2-year-old me felt every time he went into the water. And to think that this is what I get to do for the rest of my life is astounding to me.
Welcome back to WTV Votes. Tonight, we're not only streaming live on WTV Media's Facebook page, but also on 105.9 Seaside FM. In 2012, a by-election was held in District 6. Tony Mancini was elected, but voter turnout was extremely low in some parts of the district. In this election, a new voice has entered the running for council, Carlos Beals. Beals is a lifelong resident of District 6 who hopes to see greater community development in the district. Transit is on the minds of many in the community of Beaverbank. They're raising concerns about the route and its future in their community. WTV's Alistair Alders has the details.
Lori Watkins relies on Route 400 to get groceries and go to medical appointments.
It needs to be revamped. We need to have decent bus service. Check your property tax bill. It breaks down how much of your dollars goes, and we pay for transit, and we should be getting it.
The route does not run between 11 and 2 in the afternoon and has limited service on the weekend.
They need to stop treating Beaverbankers as second-class citizens. They need to have a bus running from morning till night.
According to Halifax Transit's Moving Forward Together plan, it will introduce full-day service sometime within the next 5 years, but Watkins says that change needs to come sooner. The plan is also concerning residents like June Batten. She lives along the 7 kilometers of route that Halifax Transit is slating to be cut.
I really don't know what I would do. I really have no idea. Can't afford to buy a second car, so I'd be stuck.
Residents hope their concerns with transit in the community will be heard and that this will be a priority for candidates running in this election.
I need to be able to get from here to there and back again.
Alistair Alders, WTV News, Beaverbank.
Thanks, Alistair. WTV's Nick Maloney is ready with updates from Lindell Smith's headquarters on Gardigan Street in Halifax. Nick?
Thanks, Sky. I'm still here at Alter Ego's. The room's filling up quite a bit now, a lot of supporters around. With me right now is Martez Wiggins. He's local to this area, works here at Alter Ego's, and is also a campaign supporter. You're a hip-hop artist as well, Martez?
Yes, I work with Lindell at Centerline Studios for the last 5 or 6 years,
a lot with my music. He's an engineer there, and he also is really.
You mean Lindell? That's Lindell's studio,
Yeah.
Centerline.
Yeah.
How is it that you've worked with him?
Well, he helps me create and record, and he's the engineer. So he also mixes and does a lot of things like that.
So he's running for to represent the district, to represent you through the city. How is it that you think he's going to make an impact as far as representing what Martez Wiggins is all about?
He knows the issues that I go through, along with some of the issues with the community, and he's in tune with that. He's really passionate about making the change, and he wants to be the person that does it.
Right.
And that's how he's going to make his impact. He's driven to do it, and he has a really strong purpose.
A lot of supporters in the community that you know of?
Everybody.
Why do you think that is? Like, specifically, is it just that he's been raised here, or is it?
That he's been raised here, but also that they see what he has done over the last 8 years in the community, just with like putting together Centerline Studio, working at the library with the youth, and making sure that people have a place to go and checking in on people, and they know what kind of person he is.
Well, thank you very much, Martez.
No problem.
We'll still be here for the next little bit, Sky. Hope it's going well back at the studio. From Alter Egos on Goddard Street, this is Nick Maloney for WTV Votes.
Thank you, Nick. There's a strong French community in HRM, and one Dartmouth resident hopes to see more Francophone issues recognized by a new city council. Jean-Marc Sampson reports.
Bert Lozier's two sons, Noah and Barrett, attend École du Carrefour. He lives in District 6, which covers the Harbourview, Burnside, and Dartmouth East area.
The main issue is to maintain the French identity of the area.
Originally from northern New Brunswick, he is a retired engineer for the federal government. He says he would like to see interest within the younger population.
Find ways to keep the youth interested in speaking and enjoying life in the French culture.
According to the Centre Communautaire du Grand Havre, there are 46,000 people in HRM that speak some level of French. Lucien Comeau is with the organization. He says there are some specific things he'd like to see in HRM for the French community.
There's a big initiative now in regards to a Francophonie center that is being looked at by a number of groups here.
He says they're also working on getting more French programs into the community.
But we're also working with the HRM Council on showing more of the Francophone community through the public libraries, for example.
Tony Mancini currently holds the District 6 seat. He's up against local activist Carlos Beals. Bert Lozier says regardless of who wins, he hopes the Francophone community won't be forgotten.
Culturally, and also appreciate the fact that we do contribute quite a bit to the life of the municipality.
Jean-Marc Sampson, WTV News, Dartmouth.
Thanks, Jean-Marc. And now here's a short video profile about District 5 candidate Gabriel Inshuga, rather. And later, we'll check in with Callum Smith for a final update from Inshuga's headquarters. Cadence, our social media expert, has the details on what's happening on Twitter in response to the election results. Cadence, what's the tone online right now?
You know, the tone is a little bit impatient, just kind of waiting around for, well, the results. And I'm just patiently waiting for your tweets. So just remember to use hashtag HFXVotes, hashtag WTVotes, hashtag HalifaxVotes, so I can get your tweets and read them here on air. From Candy Corn Bowers, we have, meanwhile at Campaign HQ, Brad John's talking tree is visibly nervous. You know, you're trying to paint a picture for me, and it's quite colorful in my head what that talking tree looks like. From Haley Ryan, we have lots of smiles from Lindell Smith and his daughter, Jatea, I really hope I pronounced that right, saying, "Are you winning?" Oh, if that doesn't warm your heart, then you're probably cold. And from Fairview, Halifax, we have, did HFX.gov stop counting for District 10? Still same results for last 25 minutes. Be patient, everyone, as all these results are coming together. I'm sure we will have all the results in shortly. From Murderous Clown, that's an interesting name, we have chance of history in the making at Lindell's headquarters. That sounds like quite a moment. I hope someone captures a little video of that. And from Paige, we have, sad I won't be attending Nocturne HFX 2016. But on the plus side, my political nerdiness is enjoying hashtag HFX votes and hashtag HRM votes. And from Lottie George, we have Nick Maloney interviewing Lindell Smith's partner, Verena R., and daughter, Jatea. And there's that lovely photo of our Nick, our NSCC WTV correspondent. Beautiful. Oh my gosh, it's me. Get that promo, Cadence. Oh my God, election coverage is so fun. And then from Carly Sloan White, we have, can't wait to see the results of this 2016 municipal election. Hashtag WT votes. Thank you, Carly. And then from HFX.gov, we have, election headquarters in Burnside cruising along like a well-oiled machine, still aiming for 11 p.m. finish. That is great. So please keep sending in those tweets with hashtag HFXVotes, hashtag WTVotes, and hashtag HalifaxVotes. Now I will bring you back to my wonderful host, Sky.
Thank you, Cadence. Let's take another look at what's happening with one of the candidates for mayor, Lil McPherson. WTV's Jean-Marc Sampson is standing by at her campaign wrap party in Dartmouth. Jean-Marc?
Once again, good evening, folks. Here I am at the Millstone Pub, joined by the one and only Lil McPherson. How you doing, Lil?
I'm doing good.
And off camera, you mentioned to me 5 seconds ago you're feeling relaxed. How's the night been so far?
The night's been fantastic. I have all kinds of people here supporting me, and people that are shaking my hand that I don't even know and saying they voted for me, and I'm definitely relaxing more. It's been a really anxious day, but I'm feeling really proud. I think I have 35% of the vote right now, which I'm really happy with. So we'll see how the night goes on, but I'm just really excited, and it's been a hell of an experience, I'll tell you that.
Now it all comes down to tonight, but how's your campaign been?
It's been really great. It's been interesting. It's been challenging. It's been fearful. It's been all kinds of emotions because it's really tough to take on something like a mayoral campaign. But I really have a different respect for councillors and mayors and anyone that works for the public service. So because it's really something. But
and how are you feeling?
I'm feeling happy, optimistic, very proud of myself that I actually did this, and I felt like I've passed the finish line and ran a big marathon and learned tons. You know, Mayor Micah Savage and I have had a great time, I think, through this whole campaign. We've been really respectful, not like your Hillary Trump. Lots of jokes there, which is really funny. But it's an amazing learning experience, and I'm just really glad I did. I would have regretted this the rest of my life if I didn't do that. I'm doing this because I'm very passionate about climate change and the future and your future and my kids, and so that really pushed me to do this. So I'm really proud I did this.
Thank you. There you have it, Lil McPherson. Still awaiting the results, folks. The polls have closed, but we're still patiently awaiting the results rather. So for now, we're going to go back to the studio, and I'm going to throw it back to Sky.
Thank you, Jean-Marc. Before we go to a commercial break, let's check in one more time with the current results. In District 1, we're seeing Steve Stretch in the lead still with 1,296 votes. He's followed by Kathy Daigle-Gammon. And in District 2, David Hensby is still in the lead. In District 5, with the 4 candidates running, we are seeing Sam Austin in the lead, followed quite far behind by Ned Milburn. And in District 6, Tony Mancini is in the lead with 2,517 votes. Carlos Beals falls behind with 1,130. In District 7, Wei Mason, the incumbent, is still in the lead, followed by Sue Utak. And in District 8, Lindell Smith is still in the lead. And in District 9, we're seeing Sean Cleary in the lead, followed by Linda Mosier. She follows closely behind. And in District 10, Russell Walker is still in the lead, and he's followed by Andrew Curran. There's about 40 votes between them. And in District 11, Steve Adams is in the lead. It's a significant lead over Don Penny. And in District 12, we're seeing 6 candidates running, and Richard Zarowski is in the lead there. And in the race for mayor, Mike Savage is in the lead with over 50,000 votes, followed by obviously he's followed by Lil McPherson. She's the only one running against him, but he has quite the lead over her, as her votes are only 22,379. After the break, we'll take one last look at the election results. We'll also continue to provide live updates after the show. Be sure to follow us at WTV Media on Facebook and Twitter.
I knew growing up that I wanted a career that involved horses. From the moment I was born, my mother, she'd bring me down to the barn, and I had my own pony that I would ride around on, and she would call him the babysitter because she'd just put me on him and he would just roam around the arena with me. My first horse show was when I was 17 months, and I was showing that pony. His name was Peter. We come from a horsey family, so I was always involved in the barn. I took 2 years of a business degree. I realized that it was not for me, that I couldn't see myself sitting at a desk. I heard about the therapeutic recreation program at NSCC Marconi campus. I applied, got accepted, and I ended up switching schools. While at NSCC, we had the opportunity to do a work placement. I did mine at a local guest home working with people who have disabilities. And that's when I met Ed. 4 years ago, when Ed first started riding, he needed 5 people walking beside the horse with him. And now, 4 years later, it is just me walking beside the horse with him. Seeing Ed improve so much has such an impact on my life and proves to me that therapeutic riding does help people physically, emotionally, socially. In my opinion, one of the best benefits to therapeutic riding is self-esteem. Where I am right now in life, I would never have dreamt that I would be able to have this job, to be able to spend numerous hours here at the barn, but also help people. That's something that I really, really love to do, and the more I do it, the more I love it. My education enabled me to have a career with horses. It was something that I always wanted to do, and now I'm able to do it.
Welcome back to WTV Votes. We're streaming live on Facebook and on 105.9 Seaside FM. We have more live results coming up soon, but first let's take a quick look at District 5. Longtime incumbent Gloria McCluskey announced that she would be stepping down after 23 years in municipal politics. Now 8 candidates are running in hopes to gain the seat for Dartmouth Centre. The candidates include Sam Austin, Adam Bowes, Gabriel Nshuga, Ned Milburn, Tim Rosesco, Derek Vallis, Kate Watson, and Warren Wesson. We've got 2 live reporters with candidates in the district tonight. Now, to the...
Welcome back to the Dartmouth Sportsplex. I'm here at Mayor Mike Savage's campaign headquarters, and I'm joined by 2 of his supporters, Dolly and Denzel. And why do you guys support Mayor Mike Savage?
Well, he's one of those political leaders who doesn't seem to be so political. He's all there for us. And he is a good leader, well-balanced person, accessible, approachable, and he is always there for us. That's why we have been supporting him.
And what about you?
And we've known him for years when he was an MP, and very personal, very personable, and so also we felt it was very nice on his part, being such a big person and in such a important position. Yet he remembered our first names, which is not there easy for big people, and to remember the first and the last name. And also he would send us cards for Christmas with his children and the family. So he's a family kind of a person, and a mature person, very level-headed, and when he says something, he does it.
Now, he was first elected in 2012. How do you feel he's done in the past 4 years?
Well, he's done, to me, he has done very good. I mean, there have been acrimonious situations possible, but he has kept it well balanced, and he has an agenda. He pushes it, but does it so well that it is effective. That is why.
Yes, he has been effective in whatever he does, and he is dynamic. That's what we feel. He's very dynamic in his workings.
Lastly, if he is re-elected tonight, what do you hope he should bring back to council when it resumes?
Well, I wish he brings back even greater success with what he has had. He has been, to my mind, very successful with that council. It's not an easy job. I mean, you don't really have any powers. You have to lead people and get them to do what you think would be right collectively. And he succeeds in doing that most of the time.
All right, thank you so much. And we'll have more updates here from the Dartmouth Sportsplex coming up, so make sure you keep it locked. But for now, it's back to you, Sky.
Thanks, Alistair. One of the biggest electoral areas in HRM is District 1, Waverley, Fall River, Musquodoboit Valley. Candidates addressed concerns of the community during a recent forum. Joe LeBlanc has the story.
Voters in District 1 are here to meet the 6 candidates running in the 2016 municipal election for Waverley, Fall River, Musquodoboit Valley. The Fall River Area and Business Association hosted the event.
We were expecting a few more ripples, but everything went pretty smooth, and the candidates did a very great job, I thought, of answering the questions from their heart.
The 6 candidates have various backgrounds ranging from rookies to people with decades of government service. Current councillor Barry Dalrymple attended the event. He isn't running for re-election this year.
No, hey, look, a great forum. I think it's great that there's 6 candidates. It speaks of the interest in the district, and like I say, a packed audience. It shows the district cares.
The issues that were discussed involved the lack of transit in the area, water problems throughout the district, and the danger for cyclists and motorists on Waverley Road. In 2012, the district had the second highest voter turnout in all of HRM during the election at 42.4%. Joe LeBlanc, WTV News, Waverley.
Thanks, Joel. WTV's Callum Smith is reporting live from downtown Dartmouth with a final update from Gabriel Nshuga's office. Callum?
Thanks, Sky. I'm here with Gabriel Nshuga. Gabriel, how are things looking now that some results are coming in?
It's looking good so far. I don't think we're going to win, but I think that we've gotten a lot of votes, and I'm feeling good about it so far.
Are there any other surprises or excitements? I heard a big roar down there earlier. Anything going on outside of your district?
We're really excited to see that Lindell Smith has gotten 50% of the poll so far from the advanced votes, and he's looking strong, and that's really exciting.
Talk about why you say that's exciting. What's the passion around Lindell?
I think he's a great guy. I've known him for a number of years through Acorn and community work. I think that he's really grounded in community and would be a great counselor on City Hall.
And moving forward, any expectations going through the rest of the night?
Just going to sit here and wait and see what happens.
Gabriel, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Now back to you, Sky.
Thanks, Callum. There's a push to get more young people out to vote in this municipal election. WTV's Jenny Searle caught up with residents in Halifax.
I'm in the south end of Halifax because WTV wants to know, what are young voters thinking about the municipal elections?
I'm not following the municipal elections.
And why aren't you following the municipal elections?
I'm a new resident to the city, and I don't necessarily know where I can go to see public debates or who I can contact about more information.
From where I live, I see some signs and things like that. And I recently went back to school, and on campus there is virtually no sign whatsoever that any kind of election is happening on a municipal, provincial, federal level, nothing. There is no way to know.
So I'm finding it very interesting that the two people who are going into becoming the mayor have decided and agreed upon for not having actual signs for the campaign. So that's a good step forward, I think.
I like Councillor Way Mason. I find he's very engaged with the online community.
One of the big issues for me is that I want to live downtown close to where I work and go to school, but I'm having a hard time affording it.
I'm seeing like a lot of old buildings like being destroyed and setting up of like condos, and also gentrification.
I would like to encourage everyone to go out and vote. It's our right, it's our privilege. Go out and vote.
And those were some thoughts from young people about the municipal elections. For more, go to our Facebook page, WTV Media, to catch live election coverage on October 15th. I'm Jenny Cyril with WTV News, Halifax.
Thank you, Jenny. Time now to check back in with our Hillary Pettigrew, who's reporting live from Tim Rusesco's campaign headquarters in downtown Dartmouth.
Thanks, Sky. I'm down here at Tim Rusesco's headquarters down in Alderley Gate in downtown Dartmouth, where I'm joined by Art Hood, who is Tim Rusesco's campaign manager. Thanks for joining me, Art.
No, my pleasure.
All right. So, what has this past campaign process been like?
Well, candidly, in a word, it's been a lot of fun. I've met a few new people, and we have a great crew that we're working for Tim, and we think we made all the right decisions and followed through on all the right plans, and hopefully that'll turn out with the right count vote at the end of the night.
And why do you support Tim?
Well, I've known Tim for a very long time. I met him many, many years ago when he was chair of the Natal Day organization. Very soon after that, he joined my Kiwanis Club. He was in my club when I was president. I've been in the club while he's been president a couple of times. We've done a lot of projects together. I like the way he does business. I like the way he thinks. He's very active in the community, very dedicated to the community. He's a guy I think that can get things done, and I think he'd be good for the city.
All right. And so you mentioned all of his community work. So aside from that, what makes him stand out from the other candidates?
There's just a little something that tells me he's more focused, more online. As I said, he's demonstrated to me on numerous occasions that he usually has a good game plan. He follows through with it. He can get things done, and those sort of qualities I see in him on a regular basis.
Awesome. Well, thank you for taking the time to speak with me. Reporting live from Tim Rusesco's headquarters on Alderney Drive, I'm Hillary Pettigrew. Back to you, Sky.
Thank you, Hillary. We'll take one final break. After the break, we'll hopefully hear from Mayor Mike Savage. Alistair Alders is reporting live from his campaign wrap party. Nick Maloney will also come to us live with Lindell Smith. Stay tuned.
I love money. But it's not for wanting
a bigger car, a bigger house, but because I learned at a young age what I could do with it. I started my life in public housing. Now, as a child, I saved all my money, not out of greed, but because I wanted to change the world around me. I saw the power in money, the good and the bad. I was an entrepreneur by the time I was 12. My parents were going through a really rough patch money-wise, and my brother and I, we figured out a way to make money from playing just ordinary video games. Being able to be there and provide them with something to get their feet back on the ground, you know, it was amazing. In providing for my family, there was a role reversal where it actually empowered me. Someone else may have been pushed away, but it actually pulled me in. When I found the business program at NSCC, I was amazed. Never have I felt such a community here. I remember walking in my first day. You know, there was pizza parties and nice living walls, and people were having fun. The business program enabled me to help others and help myself in a way I've never seen before. The career that I'm in now is an operation analyst, and we do hedge fund administration. What I've learned from going through financial planning training, you know, working at a bank, in the process of being a financial advisor, people spend way more than what they can, even if it doesn't make any sense. Just the beauty of, you know, helping people with financial planning, the beauty of finance really got to me, and where I am now, I actually love it, and I plan on staying here for a while. I don't know where I will be in 10 years, but what I do know is that you have to have passion for what you do. Passion to move forward. Passion to make a difference in the world. Your heart needs to be on fire for what you do and how you live.
I'm in the north end of Halifax, talking to community members about the upcoming municipal election. I want to find out what it is the community needs, how they feel about one of their own community members running in the election, and some changes they'd like to see for their community in the future. Let's hit the streets.
Like the older people need some kind of place to go to enjoy themselves where they can be happy and not be lonely.
I think really what it needs is people that understand the community, are from the community, to kind of to understand how the changes will actually impact people.
So how do you feel about somebody from your community running for your community?
I think it's awesome that Lindell's running. I actually plan on voting. I've never voted in my life, but after speaking with him, because I wasn't too sure about a lot of the things, like why he was running, what he actually was running for, after speaking with him, I actually feel comfortable to go out and vote for him. So
I'd like to somehow see mostly a stop to all of the senseless violence that's been going on and basically all that, because I've lost 7 friends at the beginning of the year. It takes a toll. It takes a toll on their loved ones, their family members, people in the community. Makes people in the community not feel safe, being able to go out at night, carry on doing their things.
More of a concern for outreach programs for youth is definitely a big concern here and really anywhere else in the world. But I would like to see more of a concern for green spaces.
From what I've seen, the community is excited about the election and eager to see some change. I'm Whitney Middleton, WTV News, Halifax.
Thank you, Whitney. We're going back now to our reporter, Nick Maloney. He just caught up with District 8 candidate Lindell Smith's partner and daughter, who are with him at Alter Egos Cafe on Gottingen Street. Nick?
Thanks again, Sky. Still here at Alter Ego's. Crowd erupting a couple of times after they brought in some vote results. Results are still rolling in now, but the mood is pretty positive here. I'm standing right here with Verena R. What was the last name, sorry?
Rizk.
Verena Rizk. This is Lindell's partner. And also we have Jataya Skeet. And how are you related to Lindell Smith?
He's my dad.
He's your dad. Are you excited for him tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah? Why are you excited? What are all these people doing here tonight?
Voting.
Are they voting for your dad, do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah? Do you think your dad is a good friend to these people? Is he gonna treat them right if he becomes counselor?
Yeah, he treats me really nicely.
Does he? What's your favorite thing about your dad?
He takes good care of me.
Does he? Do you have a lot of fun with him?
Yeah.
Where do you live? Do you live close to here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Verena, why do you think that Lindell is running for councillor now? Why is he taking all of this attention and why is he working so hard for the community?
Because he is passionate about his community and he's connected to so many diverse parts of the community. It's a huge district, but the district needs someone who represents them, who cares about the community, is familiar with the community, and who has their best intentions in mind.
What are the results looking like right now? I haven't gotten the last numbers.
So far, they're staggering. He's winning by about 60% right now. Now, we don't want to, we'll keep our fingers crossed and you hope for the best, but it's looking good thus far.
You're making drinks tonight. You just brought me a nice little refreshing drink. Who put you in charge of that?
When I saw the drinks, I just started making them.
Apple juice and cranberry juice and iced tea.
That's a good correction. That's a great correction. Thank you. So, Sky, we're having a lot of fun here. Still, lots of people rolling through the door. Nocturne is actually taking place on Gottingen Street right now as well. So, lots of activity and a lot of really, really positive moods in the room right now. Thank you so much, guys, for taking part. Hope you have a great night tonight.
Thank you. You too.
Jataya, thank you for the drink.
You're welcome.
Good night. All right, Sky, back to you.
Thanks, Nick. Cadence, fill us in one more time on what's happening on social media.
Well, Sky, that would be my absolute pleasure. From Remo Z, we have, one person doesn't automatically mean council is diverse, but it's a start, and hopefully more women find their way to City Hall. I couldn't agree more. I'm all about diversity and equity. And from Cheryl Bauer, we have addicted to refreshing municipal election results. First time in NS I've been eligible to vote in 8 years. Well, congratulations to you, and I can feel ya. I have become quite addicted to refreshing my social media all day long, and it's been a party. TrendsMap Canada says, HFX Votes is now trending in Canada. That's what I like to see and hear. And from Chris Haliff, we have Wayne Mason supporters at Spencer House with this photo. Lovely. From Manderson Spooker, we have, okay, seriously, are they napping at District 10 tables? Move it along, folks, move it along. It is tired, yeah. Oh, there's a phone. Anyways, Jane from says hashtag HRM votes. Results are taking forever. Super high voter turnout. And then we have this wonderful photo. Lindell Smith is congratulated by Brandon Sommerhalder. I hope I pronounced that right, I'm sorry. Not the best at sounding out my words, but that is a wonderful photo. It's great that they can be getting along, and hopefully we all just work together towards a better HRM. The definition of a classy campaign from Jessica Bradley, and it's another photo of them shaking hands. And then from JD we have, District 9 is incredibly close. On an unrelated note, don't text and drive. That's a great piece of advice. So thank you so much for letting me read your tweets all night. Back to you, Sky.
Thank you, Cadence. And Nick Maloney is back again, joining us live with District 8 candidate Lindell Smith. Nick?
Can everybody hear me? Yeah! We did it! It's I have a microphone in my face. I'm not sure what's gonna happen. I can't believe this. No, I had 2 speeches. If I lose speech, if I won speech, if I had both on me, I'd rip up if I lost speech. God bless you, honey. Just take a moment and look around this room. Yes. There's not one person that is the same. Yeah. This campaign did something that has never been done in this city. Right on. We showed that if we all work together, no matter our background, no matter our gender, no matter where we come from, we can do it. This started back in January. Yeah. With a small group of people. Half of this, I thought I was crazy. Half people thought I was a little crazy. But this proves that maybe I wasn't crazy. No! It also proves that the community wants to see change. The launch itself had over 150 people from all over the city. Now we look at this room. We have people from all over the city. Yes. And I get to stand here as your counselor. Your counselor! No one can say that we did not work. Yeah. No, we worked hard. We knocked on thousands of doors. Thousands. Yes. We didn't take anything for granted. Right. We went to every community and made sure that.
That was an emotional speech delivered by Lindell Smith, as he is the projected winner for District 8. We're going to squeeze in another commercial, but coming up, Alistair Alders talks to projected winner, Mayor Mike Savage. Thanks for tuning in.
I knew growing up that I wanted a career that involved horses. From the moment I was born, my mother, she'd bring me down to the barn, and I had my own pony that I would ride around on, and she would call him the babysitter because she'd just put me on him and he would just roam around the arena with me. My first horse show was when I was 17 months, and I was showing that pony. His name was Peter. We come from a horsey family, so I was always involved in the barn. I took 2 years of a business degree. I realized that it was not for me, that I couldn't see myself sitting at a desk. I heard about the Therapeutic Recreation Program at NSCC Marconi campus. I applied, got accepted, and I ended up switching schools. While at NSCC, we had the opportunity to do a work placement. I did mine at a local guest home working with people who have disabilities. And that's when I met Ed. 4 years ago, when Ed first started riding, he needed 5 people walking beside the horse with him. And now, 4 years later, it is just me walking beside the horse with him. Seeing Ed improve so much has such an impact on my life and proves to me that therapeutic riding does help people physically, emotionally, socially. In my opinion, one of the best benefits to therapeutic riding is self-esteem. Where I am right now in life, I would never have dreamt that I would be able to have this job, to be able to spend numerous hours here at the barn, but also help people. That's something that I really, really love to do, and the more I do it, the more I love it. My education enabled me to have a career with horses. It was something that I always wanted to do, and now I'm able to do it.
Welcome back. Alistair Alders caught up with Mayor Mike Savage at the Dartmouth Sportsplex. Savage is a projected winner for Mayor of Halifax. Alistair?
Okay, we're back here at the Dartmouth Sportsplex with Mayor Mike Savage. Congratulations. How does it feel?
Well, it feels great when you win an election. I will tell you this, having been on both sides of elections, that losing elections is more hard than winning elections is easy. So when you win, there's always a sense of relief and appreciation for the people who've helped you out along the way.
Going into this next term, what do you hope to continue or accomplish?
I want to have an economy that continues to grow. I want more people to be able to be part of the success of our economy. I want us to be green and sustainable. I want us to protect green spaces. I want us to continue to be more diverse and inclusive. I want next year to be the most landmark year of inclusion in Halifax. I want African Nova Scotian, First Nations, the Mi'kmaq, people with disabilities, the LGBTQ community, our Acadian citizens. I want to make sure that people recognize that we really believe in the strength of diversity.
What would you like to say to your opponent, Lil McPherson?
I'd like to say you did a great job. It was fun to campaign with you. You put the pressure on sometimes, which is what you should do. I hope you're satisfied. I hope you. She said many times in the campaign that everybody should do this, and I agree with that. There's 2 things I tell people that everybody should try to do. One is run for office at some point in your life, and the second is go to a citizenship ceremony and watch new Canadians being sworn in. You'll get a whole new perspective on yourself within this great country.
Lastly, what would you like to say to your supporters tonight?
Look, it chokes me up to think about how much people put into running, elections and working on campaigns. For me, it's, we have a multi-partisan group. We have, the Peter Stoffers, the Chris Lydons, the Rob Bathersons, Matt Wynot, Dave Wilson, Joanne Bernard, Diana Whalen, Andy Fillmore, Darren Fisher. These are all people, and that's so important. It makes a big difference. But it also matters to me that folks who are really not at the top of their game now for situations that are beyond their control came out to help. People who are working on disability issues, diversity issues. It's very touching when somebody says they believe in you and think you can do something. You're not even sure you can do it yourself, but sometimes they lift you up and get it done. So thank you to everybody that helped me out. It means a lot.
Thank you so much. I'm Alistair Alders for WTV News, live at the Halifax Sportsplex.
Thank you, Alistair. We just saw Mike Savage announce his reaction to learning that he has 4 more years in this municipal election serving on council. Well, that's all the time we have for our live show, but it's not the end of our coverage. We'll continue to provide you with live updates, results, and reports. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at WTV Media. I also want to thank all of the reporters who are in the field tonight and keeping us up to date through their live coverage. And of course, a huge thank you to our behind-the-scenes WTV team. And thanks to you for joining us. Good night.